Canelo, there's a lot of articles and social media news floating around saying that you could potentially be negotiating with Terence Crawford directly for a main fight. Any truth to that?
No, I'm working in other things. Now I'm enjoying my family. I'm not talking about boxing yet. So maybe in January we're gonna start doing that.
Where do things stand with Turkey? Turkey said he would like to open a line of communication with you. No middlemen, just you and him.
I never say no to business. So if it is a business for me, I'm open to talk, no matter what.
Anything else for Chula Vista?
No, thank you everybody from Chula Vista. Thank you for your support.
The likelihood of a fight with you and Terence Crawford, it would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We're not talking about yet about the fight. Me and we're gonna know each other, and then we wanna see what happens.
And when do you want to get out next? I know you're here in London tonight. When are you going to be in a camp?
Huh?
When are you going to be in a camp? I know you're here.
Training camp in March.
Okay, so
at the beginning of the middle of the February or March, yeah.
In a groundbreaking moment for the boxing community, Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford have officially signed to meet in a long-awaited super middleweight clash. The bout is scheduled for September 2025 at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. News of this fight has generated massive anticipation among fans, as it brings together two of boxing's most decorated athletes in a matchup that will be remembered as a historic spectacle.
What's up, fight fans? Some breaking news. This guy, Julius Julianis, who's an ESPN Knockouts reporter, is reporting that the fight isn't only about to be announced, but the contracts are signed between none other than Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford. In Julianis' report, he claims that this fight has been signed, sealed, delivered, and it's going down this September in Las Vegas. We know Canelo was in London for the Ring Magazine Awards with Turki Al-Sheikh, seemingly shaking hands as business partners. And just today, as a few hours ago, Bud Crawford landed in London and was seen with Turki Al-Sheikh this September. It's official. What are your thoughts? This headline is all the details the Ring Magazine put out about 2 hours ago. Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford, the fight is up. Guys, are they just messing with us for real? Because this is what, 48 hours removed from them reporting the location? First ever stadium fight, Allegiant Stadium. Even though the fight was 7 months away in September, this in everybody's eyes was going on. And then all of a sudden, the Ring Magazine, Turki Al-Sheikh, releases this with no other details. Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford in September is off.
The deal for this monumental showdown was sealed in January 2025, setting in motion what many are calling a once-in-a-generation fight. Canelo Alvarez, the reigning and undisputed super middleweight king, carries a remarkable record of 62 wins, 2 defeats, and 2 draws, with 39 of those victories achieved by knockout. His challenger, Terence "Bud" Crawford, remains unbeaten with 41 wins, including 31 knockouts, and currently rules as the undisputed welterweight champion. This contest signals Crawford's daring leap into the super middleweight division, as he attempts to cement his greatness by going after Alvarez.
All right, let's talk Canelo, Crawford, Jake Paul again. Let's try and give a timeline of events. So on Tuesday, Ring Magazine confirmed that Canelo Crawford was on for September 13th, Raiders Stadium. That's what we got on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we started hearing whispers of Jake Paul. It sounded crazy at the time. I did a video on it. I said that's impossible. But then those whispers became louder and louder and louder. On Thursday, Ring Magazine reported that Canelo Crawford was off. Thursday evening, so just after me and G-Man had filmed, we got reports that Jake Paul versus Canelo, or Canelo versus Jake Paul, was very much a real thing and was close to being signed off, and that would have happened on Netflix. About 2 hours later, we got confirmation that Canelo versus Jake Paul is now not a thing and is off, and that Canelo has signed a 4-fight deal with Riyadh Season, and Turkey went on social media talking about he's the lion and don't mess with the lion and things like that, which I thought was quite funny. Canelo versus Crawford is now back on, and that will happen in September. Canelo versus Jake Paul is now off and won't happen for at least another couple of years. Yeah, I think that's what.
Jake Paul recently took aim at Canelo Alvarez for agreeing to a 4-fight deal with Riyadh Season, which consequently cancelled their much-anticipated encounter. Paul accused Alvarez of avoiding the toughest challenges, including Terence Crawford, largely because of public scrutiny. He went on to argue that Alvarez had become a servant to Riyadh Season, implying that money-driven motivations heavily influenced his decision to avoid riskier, more competitive fights.
Oh, Canelo, you puta.
And this fucking YouTuber, I just fight real fighters.
Time to expose him. So we had a signed contract to fight. Here you can see Canelo's signature and my signature to the right. Claiming he's not fighting YouTubers. Bullshit. Look at the poster. We were announcing Tuesday, February 11th. Claiming he fights real fighters, but he's fighting Crawford, a 135-pound fighter, and running from a real fighter like David Benavidez, you bitch. The truth is you can be bought. You're a money-hungry squirrel chasing your next nut. The truth is these sports-washing shady characters are paying you hundreds of millions of dollars to stop our fight from happening because they couldn't fathom the fact that they can't create a bigger fight than me and you. Al Heyman has made you hundreds of millions of dollars and you turned your back on him for this check. Disloyal. And you were begging to do this fight on pay-per-view. But I have loyalty. Loyalty to Netflix, doing the biggest numbers. And you call me a YouTuber, but you've never had a boxing match as big as mine. Remember you told my team that your daughter came home and asked if you were fighting Jake Paul? She was all excited. You said that was the first time your daughter's ever asked you about a fight. And you're screwing over all your Mexican fans by doing your fights in Saudi. It just shows what type of person you are. And I promise you one thing, Canelo. Any fight that you do this year, mine will be bigger. So go fuck off to your boss, you Ring Magazine employee. You pink and orange bitch. And oh, fix that herpes on your lip, you dirty puta.
During a heated press conference, Canelo Alvarez delivered a direct warning to Terence Crawford, firmly asserting his control over the super middleweight ranks. "This is my house," Alvarez stated confidently. Crawford is a tremendous fighter, but stepping into this division is an entirely different obstacle. "I'm prepared to prove why I remain the champion here." His bold words underscored his determination to protect his legacy against an elite rival entering new territory.
How is Crawford going to be able to bridge this weight gap?
Yeah, I don't think he can, in all honesty. I mean, he might not be able to bridge it on Saturday.
Yeah.
So,
one weight class.
68, yeah, but you're coming up from 35. 35, 40, 47, 54. Sooner or later, it's one too many. And 68 is definitely too many. But Crawford's brilliant. Like, he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outsized against Canelo Alvarez. Yeah. But you have to use your movement. If you're Terence Crawford in that fight, the last thing you want to do is stand and trade. He'd be moving a lot in that fight, trust me. I'm not saying he'd be running, but he would be moving a lot. Of course, that's the way to beat him. Yeah. You know.
Canelo Alvarez, celebrated for his explosive power and tactical adaptability, is regarded by many as one of the premier pound-for-pound talents in the sport. Meanwhile, Terence Crawford, a world champion across 4 weight classes, is known for his exceptional quickness, sharp accuracy, and ability to adjust mid-fight. The contrasting strengths of these two fighters have fueled extraordinary excitement among fans, who expect this to be one of the defining boxing spectacles of the year.
When Terence Crawford said that he moved up and won, and Canelo moved up and lost.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won.
I don't think that was a strong point because Canelo Alvarez actually moved up and won. I mean, he moved up a lot of weight classes, but if you want to talk about light heavyweight, he moved up and he beat Kobe. Then he moved up again and he lost to Bivol. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, he moves up to 154. He won 115, 113, but it was just an 11-0 Madrimov who didn't really have much of a resume, right? But there's a difference, to be real. I mean, Bivol is a Hall of Fame. Okay, this guy, all-time light heavyweight. This is a bit different. Canelo did knock out Kovalev when he did move up, okay? And Kovalev is a bigger challenge at light heavyweight than Madrimov at 154 for Terence Crawford. Let's just keep it a bit.
Still ruling as the dominant figure of the super middleweight scene, Canelo Alvarez holds a commanding 62-2 professional record. His proven success at higher divisions, coupled with his power, reflexes, and veteran experience, makes him a daunting obstacle for anyone who steps into the ring. Former champion Sean Porter voiced doubts about whether Terence Crawford can endure the full force of Canelo's punches, given the Mexican star's reputation for punishing knockout power. Porter openly questioned Crawford's ability to absorb that level of impact, especially since he is moving up significantly in weight. These concerns reflect the larger debate over Crawford's capability to adapt physically against a naturally stronger and heavier foe.
The others say, like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But, you know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out, you know what I mean? So,
former 4-division champion Mikey Garcia recently gave his perspective on the upcoming super middleweight clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Garcia believes Alvarez's physical strength and natural size will be key factors in determining the result. While he praised Crawford's elite skill set, Garcia emphasized that the noticeable size gap could be a serious obstacle. He pointed out that Alvarez has competed at 168 pounds for years, whereas Crawford only recently stepped up to 154 pounds, where he already encountered some challenges adjusting to that division.
I'm not even a fan of that fight. They're too many weight classes apart. And although the skills, Crawford is one of the best fighters that I've seen. Now, Canelo is, you know, fighting at 168. Crawford just moved up to 154, and he had some trouble with that in that fight. Now, where do you plan on going? 164, 65, 66? Canelo ain't gonna come down to 160.
Yeah,
Canelo ain't gonna come down, you know, maybe 166 max if he accepts. I think Canelo wins that fight based on just the size, you know, power and size. Now, skill-wise, I think Crawford's a better skilled fighter, but the difference in size will be the deciding factor, and that's why I'm not even a fan of that fight. I think Crawford has accomplished everything he had to accomplish from 140, 147, now 154. That's even greater for him. He wants to do something, collect belts at 154, he can attempt that. But there's no money in that compared to the Canelo fight. And Canelo is trying to fight other guys, and you know, at that point it's more of a big fight, you know, for the money that's gonna generate. But as a fight fan, I'm not really a fan of that matchmaking. I'd rather see Canelo move up and fight somebody like Bitterbeef or Revolt again. If he wanted to challenge himself, move up to 175 again, and challenge himself against those guys. Not a smaller guy moving up.
Trainer Joel Diaz expressed confidence in Canelo Alvarez's chances against Terence Crawford. While acknowledging that Crawford is widely regarded as the pound-for-pound best fighter today, Diaz highlighted Canelo's unique attributes and meticulous preparation, stressing that Alvarez is fully equipped and ready to take on the challenge.
A lot of people that say that Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Alvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this. Terence Crawford moved from 47 to 54 to fight Madrimov. What did he do to Madrimov? Nothing. Okay, Madrimov was a 54-pounder. Now, to move up to 168, that's 2 more divisions. Canelo Alvarez will take any punch from Crawford, but I don't think Crawford will take any punches from Canelo. Remember, Canelo got hit by Triple G, the heaviest hitter in that division. And Canelo took those shots like a champ. I don't think Crawford has anything to beat Canelo.
When you say, I want Canelo, is there anybody in the camp that would say, you're not ready for this?
That's a big boy. He's strong. That's a conversation. It's not just, oh, man, you will whoop his ass.
Like yes, man type stuff.
I'm not worried about Canelo. I'm not thinking about Canelo. I'm just focused on Israel Madrimov.
In a small way, is this a stepping stone to your dream fight?
I don't look at fights as stepping stone. It's about now.
Former world champion Demetrius Andrade also weighed in, stating that while Terence Crawford is undeniably an elite fighter, Canelo Alvarez's size and experience at higher weights give him the upper hand. Andrade predicted that Crawford may struggle with Canelo's mix of strength and mobility. Crawford is stepping into unfamiliar territory, moving up 2 full weight classes to face Alvarez. His most recent outing was at 154 pounds, where he earned a hard-fought decision over Israel Madrimov. Although he displayed skill and adaptability at that weight, Andrade stressed that jumping to 168 pounds is an entirely different test. At super middleweight, Crawford will be facing opponents who are not only heavier but also naturally stronger and far more comfortable competing at that size.
Be great. That'll be 3 times. If you go 154 and win the belt, that's 3 times super. Then I said, chase super greatness. Come on, Canelo, 160.
Well, if he can get in there with Charlo in like his next 2 fights, where he's still got age on his side, then maybe go up again. Like if he's trying to chase the greatness, but I mean he already done something that's never been done. Charlo don't want none of that stuff.
Terence Crawford, I see he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. No, Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but like I say, he's a weight classes for a reason. I'm focused 100% on Berlanga, and you never know what happened.
Yeah.
Unlike his previous bouts, where his speed, sharpness, and technical ability often set him apart, stepping in against a naturally larger opponent like Canelo Alvarez could reduce some of those advantages. Canelo's combination of power, toughness, and long-term experience at 168 presents a massive challenge, requiring Crawford to adapt both strategically and physically. Making the leap to super middleweight is no small task. It brings unique obstacles such as dealing with harder punches and stronger opposition. While Crawford's craft and skill level remain world-class, uncertainty lingers over whether his power and durability will hold up against a naturally bigger and stronger fighter like Alvarez.
Just a few weeks ago, you heard what Terence "Bud" Crawford had to say on why he wants to take on Saul Canelo Alvarez.
I just want the opportunity, to fight the best fighter in my generation that's out there. He's the most accomplished fighter, and I would just like to, fight another great.
Which is a very noble reason. I mean, it's a reason that I can get behind. If you notice, his primary reason isn't money. He did say it'd be the biggest fight, which, you do want a big fight, but I don't think he meant monetarily, which the money comes, okay? But what he's saying is he want to test himself versus the best. And I think he's telling the truth here, right? Of course you want big money and stuff like that, but I think his swan song is just him test himself up against the very best. Those are the reasons the war room can get behind.
Robert Garcia has also shared his opinion on the matchup, leaning toward a victory for Canelo Alvarez. Though he hasn't gone into great detail, his stance reflects the majority view that favors Canelo. Garcia suggested that Crawford's decision to take the fight would likely be driven by the financial reward, noting that Crawford has already secured both his legacy and his financial stability. Still, Garcia admitted that if the fight goes ahead, Crawford will be competitive, particularly in the early stages. He expects Crawford to perform well in the opening 6 to 8 rounds, using his intelligence, skill, and natural ability to hold his own before Canelo's advantages begin to take over.
Robert, what's a smart bet on Crawford Canelo? Canelo by knockout or Canelo by decision?
Crawford by decision. If you have to bet,
yes.
I say Canelo by decision. Crawford by decision. No, but you say Canelo by knockout or Canelo?
Yeah, no, because I'm saying that's what's going to happen. Canelo's going to beat him. But which one?
I don't know, man. Crawford is fucking gangster. I've always been saying, I think Canelo at the end, obviously his strength, his weight,
experience
probably takes over. But I wouldn't be surprised if Crawford just fucking boxes and fights smart and beats him.
He's probably gonna be 40-1 underdog or something crazy like that, right? It's not gonna be close.
Oh, it's gonna be close.
3 weight classes?
3-4-1. No crees?
Nah.
It's not gonna be that big of a difference. No.
When you pick the knockout? No, when you pick the knockout?
You pick a knockout. But if it's just
who wins straight out?
I think it's gonna be maybe 3-1, 4-1. Maybe that's too much. Maybe 2-1. Maybe 2-1.
I don't think so.
I'm telling you.
So they finally announced Ryu's fight. Gary Russell, what do you think? Not easy fight? No easy fights in this level? It's gonna be, finally you guys will be, the first time you're ever going to a Tank fight, right? To work a corner?
We're gonna corner a Tank's fight.
Is Tank's the main event?
The much anticipated clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford is shaping up to be a defining moment in modern boxing. Alvarez's strength and experience in the super middleweight division will be tested against Crawford's technical brilliance, speed, and unbeaten record. Both fans and experts are eager to see how Crawford adjusts to the added weight and how Alvarez handles the challenge of facing such a technically gifted opponent.
He's gonna be the greatest. You know what I'm saying? Floyd, it was Floyd, and then it's gonna be Terence Crawford. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what's on the line with that fight, right? Canelo and Terence is whose era is it? Right?
Nah.
I think Canelo had his time.
Yeah, Canelo had his time. Yeah.
Just go submit our time.
Yeah, for sure.
What made Bomac such a great trainer?
He can adapt to any style, bro. Like, he can adapt to any style. First of all, DB3, we all got different styles. And he all been making this better in our own style. He got Troy Eisen. Troy Eisen is a different style. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, he got Avius Griffin. Avius Griffin is a different style. Of course, y'all know Jamel Herring and Terence Crawford. All different styles. And he make these fighters great. He can adapt to any style. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes him.
Do you believe Canelo's size and power will overwhelm Crawford in the later rounds, or will Crawford's intelligence, skill, and strategy allow him to emerge victorious? Share your opinions in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this fight breakdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to FightCore for more powerful boxing updates. Stay tuned for the next round.